Hi, entrepreneurship students. We are in week 7. So, yes, I'm getting a little bit more lax in my presentation motif, but I thought this is kind of fitting because I'm reading you a story, and what better thing than taking it old school and reading a bedtime story. So I'm in my PJs, and I'm sitting on my bed, and I'm going to read you a little bit more Fred Factor. So we are in the second to last chapter of Fred Factor. And just a reminder, this is Fred Factor by Mark Sanborn. And being in the second to last chapter means we are starting part 4 today. And part 4 is called For the Love of Fred. And it's a pretty short chapter, and we're only going to do one chapter today, and that is chapter 12. So let's begin. Here's the quote from Aristotle. "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." I am frequently asked about Fred. Where is he today? What is he doing? As of this writing, Fred is doing his typical exceptional job of delivering mail in Denver. Recently, the U.S. Postal Service recognized Fred for his years of service with a special ceremony at his station. I had the privilege of speaking to Fred's co-workers. Fred was there with his wife, Kathy, and other family members. His co-workers were extremely proud of Fred and the honor that he was receiving. After so many years of telling audiences about Fred, I was gratified to see him finally receiving from his employer the formal recognition he so richly deserved. Recognition that Fred's customers have lavished on him over the years. A local Denver television station was there to cover the event. And later, there was a special piece about Fred on the evening news. The camera showed him delivering mail on his route, and the story included brief interviews with his customers who uniformly expressed their admiration and appreciation. Because of the television show, viewers learned that I was the speaker telling the Fred Factor story and writing the book. As a result, I received phone calls and emails about Fred. The most common theme, "I know Fred too, and you're right, he's amazing." A woman on Fred's route called to relay a story. She lived in Washington Park for many years as a single mom. She raised her daughter alone, and Fred delivered their mail throughout the years as her daughter was growing up. The woman's mother was in town visiting, and as sometimes happens, grandmother was vocal in her disagreement with the parenting techniques that mom was using with their now full-grown granddaughter. It bothered the woman, and when Fred walked onto the porch that day to deliver her mail, she felt comfortable enough with him to do a little venting. When Fred heard the story, he was adamant. "I've watched you raise your daughter from a little girl to a grown woman, and you've been a wonderful mother. She turned out great, and you have nothing to feel bad about. You should be proud of the job that you've done." Those kind words made all the difference in her day. All she needed to go from feeling awful to feeling awesome was a little encouragement from someone that she knew and trusted, and that someone was her postal carrier, Fred. To Fred, this woman was not just a customer. Over time, he had built a relationship and made the single mom feel comfortable confiding in him. When a time of personal need came, Fred was ready and able to provide the perspective that she needed. I've also learned more about Fred's background. He started playing music when he was 8 years old, and as a young man became a drummer for a band. He met Kathy one night at a performance. Because of his interest in music, one of Fred's hobbies was refinishing drums and donating them to school music departments. Once he received a call from the band teacher at a nearby school who was losing drummers at an alarming rate. Fred diagnosed the problem. With only snare drums to play, the drummers were getting bored. That's what motivated Fred to start refurbishing drums. He would spend 2 hours a night, 3 days a week at the school, working with the kids and providing them with drum sets to play. But what else would you expect from Fred? Why is Fred a Fred? Now that you know what Fred does and how he does it, you need to know why. In all the years I had known Fred, I had never asked him what may be the most important question. Why do you do what you do? His extraordinary work as a postal carrier wasn't making him rich or famous, so I put the question to Fred. His answers were concise but carefully considered. Fred is one of those people who is very purposeful about how he lives his life. He understands himself and what motivates him. Here is a summary of what Fred told me motivates him to be a Fred. Number 1, do good and you'll feel good. I have to feel good about myself each day, and the satisfaction of taking care of people helps me to do that, Fred said. Fred finds being of service to others gratifying. He has uncovered a secret. When you do good, you feel good. Pursuing good feelings as a means to an end doesn't work. As philosophers and theologians have known for centuries, being of service to others isn't just the right thing to do, it's the gratifying thing to do. Number 2, the best never rest. Fred continued to answer my question by saying, I'm my own worst critic. I've been told that I am a perfectionist, but I have a tremendous need to accomplish as much as I can each day. I take care of people who don't always know what I've done for them, but even if nobody else knows, I do. So my personal commitment is to do the best that I can. And you know what? It doesn't make or take much time or effort to do what I do. Fred is an example of noble effort combined with heart. If Fred were just a perfectionist, he wouldn't have the same effect on people. But Fred cares as much for the people that he serves as he does for how well he does his job. That makes all the positive difference in the world. Number 3, treat customers and others as friends. Nobody can argue that Fred provides world-class service. Ironically, he's able to do that because he doesn't think of them in terms of customer service. I want to go home at the end of the day feeling like I've taken care of my folks, Fred said. I don't think of them as postal customers, but as friends who appreciate me for helping make their lives a little easier. In the course of delivering mail, Fred moves advertisements that are stuck indoors and newspapers scattered on sidewalks. He even moves recycling boxes out of sight into less noticeable places. The postal customers' homes look neater, and burglars and mischief makers have one less clue that no one is home. I guess you could say I am my neighborhood watch program, Fred chuckles. Number 4, the impact you have on others is the reward. You might think that Fred would expect or at least hope for the recognition that he's received, but that's not Fred. When it comes to this book and any attention that he has received, Fred says, I'm overwhelmed. And he never sought recognition or accolades. He did what he did and continues to do what he does for the simple reason that he feels it is the right thing to do. You and I aren't surprised that his exceptional service has brought him great attention, but Fred is. The rewards and recognition are nothing more than icing on the cake for him. The cake is doing his best work and being of service. It doesn't take much time to make somebody smile, and if I'm able to make someone on my route smile, that's my reward, says Fred. Number 5, live the golden rule. Fred notices that his approach to life isn't the norm today. I see a lot of me in our culture. I choose to give people a few less things to worry about. For me, it is as simple as living the golden rule, treating others as I would like to be treated. Number 6, fear nothing except to waste the moment. I asked Fred, what one final piece of advice would you like to give readers of this book? And he didn't hesitate. Look to every day as a new day. Make each day better than the last. Even on my days off, I have goals, and I feel like I need to get a lot done. If I feel like I wasted the day, I don't sleep well or as well at night. That is Fred's statement. He doesn't do what he does to increase market share, win awards, or grow earnings. He practices the art of the extraordinary because his personal commitment to make the most of each day. And I hope that you're all making the most of each day, even in these uncertain times. And hopefully as things are starting to open back up, you're getting to maybe do a little bit more. So best of luck to you all. Please read. This week you still have 2 assignments. Number 1, your Fred Factor prompt, and number 2, your choice board for the week. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call or email. Otherwise, peace.